When you when the team plays poorly against a bad team that you should beat,
which they've done all year at times.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose to the Knicks and the Hawks and teams like the Bulls, I mean, you know you should beat them. Anyway, when you talk to the guys in the locker room, I know you're not going to give us too much, but like, what's the response from them when you just say, "Hey, why are you doing this? Why are we playing this bad?" What's their response to you?
Well, they're disappointed. They're frustrated, and we've had guys speak up. John has spoke during the year. Brad has spoke during the year, but we haven't been able to figure out how do we play against teams that are below 500. The good thing about it, like I told the guys the other day, the good thing about it, positive, that we're not going to play a team below 500 in the playoffs. We're going to be in good shape there.
That is true.
We're going to be able to play. We're going to be able to play, hopefully, better. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. We should be winning some of these games, but we have to put that behind us. We got to look forward and going into this last couple of games, getting our mojo back, getting our rhythm back, getting John's get the conditioning to where it needs to be in the playoffs. So hopefully we can do that and then have a couple of good practices and go on the road and win a playoff game.
Yeah, but that's a tall ask, Coach. I mean, you guys got 80 games in, and to be in this spot, it has to be, let's be honest, incredibly frustrating for you. And listen, it's been difficult. John's been missing for half the year, so I get it. You got different combinations you're using, and guys have different roles depending upon who's available and who's not. But to be 80 games in and to still be sort of at this point, I can't imagine how frustrated deep down you must be.
Well, as a coach, you get a lot of time to think, and you got a lot of time I get a lot of time to walk in this incredible city. So the last couple of days, I've done a lot of thinking of how I could do things differently and how we could have done things differently. We still got some time left. We still can make a run. But I came up to this. I said, we had the last 10 games for some reason. We let go of the rope. Mm-hmm. We had before that. John's going to miss probably half the season. He's going to miss roughly 40 games of the season. Thomas came out of nowhere and really did a great job of keeping us into this playoff race. So if you take away those last 10 games, it was a great story. John misses half the season. Thomas comes in. Guys stepped up. We're in a playoff race. But for some reason, we haven't played well the last 10 games. And if I have to pinpoint it to one area, it's defense. We are giving up so many drives to the basket. We're giving up offensive rebounds. We're not contesting shots the way we need to do that. And if that doesn't change, we're not going to have a successful playoffs. We've got to lock in defensively. It has to start with the point guard, and it has to keep going down to everybody down on the team that gets on the court. We got to be a defensive team. We got to be a better rebounding team. And we're not a shot blocking team. I'm not trying to say we're going to start blocking shots, but we got to be in position. We got to take charges.
Coach Brooks, you mentioned John Wall's conditioning, and you had the luxury of being able to rest him against the Hawks. Unfortunately, resulted in a loss. But when you get into the playoffs, you're not going to have that luxury where you can just look at John and say, you know what, we're just not going to have you available this game for rest purposes. How do you come up with the numbers as far as him coming back from the injury, an ideal, optimal number of minutes for him to play in these playoff games? It must be a tough equation to solve.
Yeah, you know what? The last 7 games of the season, we had 3 sets of back-to-backs. So it's not ideal for a guy like John coming back because it's not smart for us to play back-to-back with him. But I did push the limits to see how he would respond. See how he would respond in the Cleveland game. And I think, if I can remember correctly, he played 38 minutes, and that's a number that he's going to have to, for us to continue to have a good run. He's going to have to play that type of minutes in games, and he responded well during the game, and he responded well after the game. There's no back-to-backs in the playoffs. So he's going to get his rest in between. Anywhere from 36 to and have him fresh going into the next game.
So when you talk about the defensive effort and you talk about how the team's given up way too many easy cuts to the hoop, are the guys just tired? I mean, is that just lack of effort? What do you think it is? What can you pinpoint on that?
Well, I think there's definitely some fatigue factor. I mean, we've scrambled to stay afloat, and guys have really stepped up and played extra minutes. Brad has played more minutes than he's ever played. Thomas has played more minutes than he's ever played. Kelly has played more minutes than he's ever played. Otto has probably played the same more minutes than he's ever played. But that's part of being an NBA player. You gotta be able to fight through the mental fatigue. You gotta be able to continue to push the limits. And I don't know if it was that, but you can argue that could have been the point. But that's no excuse. You still got to come out and you still got to compete. You got to still play for each other and for the team.